Good evening, everybody. We'll call the agenda meeting to order. And for those of y'all that want to do public comments, we're gonna go through the business of this agenda, and then we will let you speak after that. Is everybody okay with that? That wants to speak? Okay. Ryan, Mr. Durham, I'll let you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think everyone that has or wants a copy of the draft agenda as it stands today, you have it. If not, we can certainly get more copies. This agenda is just a draft, obviously, but it has everything on it that I think is definitely going to be before the commission or will be pending subsequent committee approval between now and the commission itself. Just running through it real quick, and then we'll talk about it, whether there are any additions or deletions. Certainly stop me along the way. There will be financial reports from both the county and the director of schools. We'll have our resolution committee report done based on this and what happens in committee meetings between now and the meeting. I understand there will be some notary elections. The first is the minutes from the last. There is a mistake on the second. We're not resolution number 2. We're not approving the audit committee minutes. We're simply accepting them so that they are spread upon the minutes of the commission. And there are budget amendments to both the county and the school board budget. And then we are supposed to, according to the comptroller, amend the estimated fund balances from audited or from estimated to audited. That's that item. And then the highway committee and the highway department are bringing an amended road specification list with a few roads, 10 or 12, Ryan, something like that, that will be grandfathered because they're already either committed or underway. And then I understand the rules committee has passed the public comment rule. That'll be before the commission as a whole. The next one is the policy about animals in the workplace. There is one mistake on that. It is not from the rules committee, only workplace safety and human resources. And then there is a change to the vesting of employee retirement rights at the library. For some reason, those employees were still on a 10-year vest. This actually will move them in line with others on a 5-year vesting. And it comes with no fiscal note, no cost to the county. But that has either made its way out of human resources or will be presented to human resources before the commission meeting. And then the final thing that I know about is approving the trustees' report on delinquent taxes. You'll know those from previous reports as what are sometimes referred to as double errors. It's a short list, but it's just cleaning things up. Kylie will bring that, presumably along with David. So that is all I know about.
We'll let you know the vesting did make it through human resources.
All right, thank you. Anything else to add?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I want to add the resolution to go back to the 6-year appraisal of the property instead of the 4 years that we're doing now.
Okay.
We were told at that time that the 6 years has been removed from the list, and they never did remove it. It's still there, so I want to go back there. Wayne Yelkin wants to co-sponsor the resolution too. And anyone else?
Did you talk, you spoke to Brady today, I know via email and various things about kind of the differences in the two. Would you care to speak to that a little bit?
Sure, there are, so the 4 and 5 year plans do not allow very, well, let me just say it the other way, do not allow any adjustments in the life of the plan. You have to stick by the 4 to 5 year terms, whichever it is. The sixth mandates a review in the third year. So you have the ability to change. Not only do you have the ability to change, but you've actually got to look and see if we need to change.
If the values are off by 10% in the third year, the state says, hey, the price of homes, whatever, in Orange County is going up more than what they're currently appraised for. If it goes up 10% more, am I right?
That's right.
Then they force a reappraisal at 3 years if you're on a 6-year plan. If you're on a 5-year plan, they cannot do that. We will have the ratio study there in the middle of that.
That's right.
Right, but that's all it would do. So if you want to extend it, I think it would be safer. I mean, if you're talking about not having too many reappraisals too close together, if that's what you want to
That's
do,
exactly.
a 5-year would be better than a 6 because they're going to force a reappraisal at 3 years on a 6.
I didn't know that.
At least make.
If it's
make us
within
look at it,
10%.
Right.
Okay.
So they'll just
Okay.
make you look at reappraisal, they're not gonna make you do a reappraisal.
Yes, if more than, and there's a formula that math nerds would just geek out on, but it's a determination of if 10% or if more than 90% of the properties are undervalued or need to be adjusted by 10%, then you gotta look at everything. If it's less than 90%, then you're still supposed to look at things in categories, subcategories across property types.
Okay.
And you gotta do it.
So residential would still get hit with
It could.
So that's why we went to the 4-year,
Right.
because it's more incremental steps instead of being the 6 year where it's bang, 200%.
Well, that's what Brady, I talked to him earlier, and that's why he recommended that, was because it's just easier on the taxpayer to not have a 6-year jump as opposed to having a 4-year jump, and that's why everybody went to that.
Well, you need to go out and try to explain that to some of the people
No,
I've
it's
been
hard,
talking
it's hard
to,
to
so they don't get it.
Yeah,
It's hard.
Denny, what do you wanna do? You wanna keep your resolution or you wanna change it?
Well, what do y'all think? Wayne, what do you think?
Well, if you want to
Y'all
know
talk about it before you get it, if you get it together for the resolution committee and you still sponsor and co-sponsor, you still be on there.
Yeah.
If y'all wanna do some research on the facts on that, I know the chair of the resolution committee, if y'all sponsor and co-sponsor, I'm sure that guy will say, cool, go for it.
Nah, I just think we need to go on and do it.
Do it. Let's do it.
Now's the time to do it.
Leave
Either do
it
it or-
6?
That there's his resolution.
Okay.
If you want to leave it 6, I'm good with it.
We'll stay with 6, Denny?
Yes.
I have a
Go ahead,
question.
Mr. Skillington.
Two things, and they're more procedural than anything else. You have as a sponsor the highway department on one and Allie Weathers. Can somebody other than county executive and a commissioner sponsor a resolution? I don't know. I've never seen it. That's the reason I'm asking.
That's the reason the county executive name appears on the trustees report, to carry that. But in looking back historically, this body has noted on the agenda when one of the department heads has brought something that he's statutorily required to bring.
Okay.
So while technically he may not be a sponsor, he's the one making the recommendations of the body.
Okay.
Also, historically, there have been references to sponsors being only departments.
Okay. I just don't never remember seeing it before this one is the reason that I had a question. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Ryan, also, the resolution they're proposing to go from a 4 to a 6, that'll need to go before the budget committee, is that correct?
It will. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and we can talk about the logistics and the particulars of that as you sponsors want to, and I'm happy to help craft that resolution to say what you want it to say, but statutorily, this body cannot act first on this measure. It has to come from the assessor. The assessor has to do it first, has to determine a need. Now, could this body say by resolution, we would like the assessor to look at and evaluate whether a 6-year plan is appropriate? Absolutely. But I think procedurally, according to the statute, it's first the assessor who has to then develop the plan too, not just say we're going to a 6-year model, but develop the plan that would stand up to muster to then be approved by the county executive and then to be delivered to this body for either an up or down. If it's a no, it goes back to the assessor to either do nothing or tweak and send it back up the chain. After this body approves, then it goes to the State Board of Equalization, who is really the final say in whether it happens or not. Now, they're not going to, the state board can't say, no, we're not gonna let Lawrence County go to a 6, or we're not gonna let Lawrence County go to a 5, but they can say, this plan doesn't work, bring us back something else within that rubric.
Well, you know, what we've done, we've allowed the state to set these property values at the value of the property rather than whether we need the money or not. If the state has got surpluses every year, which they have had, why are we allowing them to do this to our property values?
Well, that's where the commission can't vote on property, that doesn't have the authority to determine property values, but it does have the authority to determine the tax rate on those properties, which is the offset for the value going up, presumably.
I understand.
Now, that's a tough sell politically, I get that, but that's not my
Well,
job.
I mean, I understand the logic they use, but I think they're using the wrong logic.
Let me ask this to
Yes,
clarify.
sir.
So this resolution that we have put forward, it will move to the budget committee first, or will it go to, or does it need to go to the full commission to allow Mr. Hutton to actually look at a 6-year plan?
He doesn't need the commission to look at that. And I'm not sure that the commission can actually mandate that he do it. But the commission certainly could recommend.
Well, that's
that he
exactly
look
what
at it.
I want us to put a resolution recommending him to look at a 6-year plan.
That's right.
So then that is just gonna do that, correct, Ryan? That won't have to go to any budget or anything like that. Cause we're just recommending him doing it, right, or the resolution.
I think that's right, yes. But with your leeway, I would like to look at that just to
Yeah, no,
make sure.
Yes, sir, that's why you handle it, yes, sir.
We
Totally agree.
certainly can do it whichever way the sponsors want to do it,
Sure.
as long as we can.
Did we not make the decision here a while back, 4 years ago? That we go to a 4-year appraisal?
Yes, sir.
That was our choice. How come we ain't got a choice now then?
Well, that was recommended by Brady.
Yes.
That was
Brady
brought
Hunt
by
did
the
recommend
session.
that.
We approved what Brady recommended.
Oh.
And the comptroller,
yeah.
let me just speak to that too, and the comptroller's office was asking everybody to look at a 2, 3, or 4 year plan, because they had before the state legislative body, a plan to change it to where they eliminate the 5 and 6 year plan, that wasn't even gonna be available anymore in Tennessee, so the recommendation came through the Assessors Association, through our assessor, to go ahead and make that change here in Lawrence County, because they were about to vote it in at the state level, and, something happened in the works of the state in the last minute, and it did not get pushed through. However, they did do the, I don't know what the term up there. Indexing. They did pass something that's called indexing, which every single year, whether you're in a 6-year, 4-year, 3-year, it doesn't matter. Every single year, if you have certain areas of your county that have increased in value considerably, that you can kind of do a spot increase in those areas through the assessor office. Is that, from what I understand about indexing?
That's a 10,000 foot view of it. That's the straightforward explanation.
So it wouldn't be all across the county increase, it would be in certain areas based upon value if it's jumped. So that's what came out of that attempt to pass by the comptroller's office, an elimination of 5 and 6 year. However, that didn't happen, but this legislative body went ahead and passed it for 4.
So let's,
Denny, I'd still like to see somebody, vote to, requesting him, because, and if it don't pass, well, then he don't have to do anything. But I just think it'd have a little more teeth about it if it come before, the commission or a committee or something like that, actually requesting him to look at it.
I do too.
That's then the way I'll begin drafting the resolution for you to look at and approve, if that's okay.
And let me make one more remark then. If we're going to Brady, he's gotta recommend it, well then, all the people that's calling me, I'll send them to Brady. And he can explain that to them too.
Well, they are the ones taking calls on it,
Yeah, that's probably a good
as you
one.
all are.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Scott.
I just wanted to share one thing. I've mentioned this in some of our meetings before, but since we got a lot of commissioners here, I've been talking with Kylie. My experience in a lot of other states, as you all know now, we get a property tax bill that just says, here's your property valuation, here's your bill. It doesn't break it out like our budget does as to how much of the property tax goes to what the various categories. So I'd asked Kylie to look into, in Tennessee, can we do that? Can we break it out and say this much goes to schools, this much goes to general government, et cetera? And he's checked on, I talked with him today, and he said, yes, we can do that. So that's his plan this fall, is when this year's bills go out, it will be broken out. That format is yet to be determined, whether it'll be a pie chart or a listing of numbers or whatever. But we're gonna get together over the summer, and there'll probably be a resolution come before this body sometime this summer to set that up. But I think that's a good thing so that taxpayers know where their tax money is going.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's all I want to share.
That comes back to, one time, this is several years ago, I made the statement that, well, let the school board determine how much tax they want to run our schools and let them get the phone calls.
Some states do that.
Huh?
Some states do that.
I think it's still a good idea. And then you'll pay attention to who you put on the school board. Now, right now, nobody pays attention to that. Now, George, you give them that right to raise your taxes, you'll pay attention either.
Any other discussion on that?
I'm done.
Anything else from any commissioner? All right, Mr. Durham, I think that's all we got so far.
That's where we'll go next then.
Okay, no, we don't approve anything, it's not, so. So I will now allow public comments. Now, these are 3 minutes apiece. Yes, 3 minutes apiece, no profanity, no disrespect. We're just here to listen to what you have to say. And we are glad that you're here to say what you have to say. But just to please be respectful, and I would ask any commissioner and the county executive not to respond to any of their stuff at this time. They can talk about it after the meeting or in the county executive's office if you wish. At this time, Ms. Elle McCann, you have the floor.
Hi, hello, yes, my name is Elle McCann. I forgot to write on there, but I'm from Ethridge, Tennessee. I came to the Rules Committee meeting before with a group of people that were very concerned about the data center. I would like to put forward a suggestion that it is reviewed to reinstate the Property Development and Codes Committee for countywide inspection and zoning, especially for land use regulation for commercial properties. It's my understanding that it was not really favorable having regulations before in the county properties. However, I think with the latest with the data center, it's shown a very real need for protecting our land, especially in the county and unincorporated cities like Summertown as well. I think there can be a common sense approach where it's not necessarily on residential properties. We're not going to have as much of a backlash by that. But any commercial properties where companies, especially from out of state, can come in, use our land and do different things with it, I think there should be common sense rules and things should be evaluated and have to be approved on as well.
Thank you, Ms. McKinney. Thank you for coming. Alan, you have the floor, sir.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My biggest concern, and this is to address commissioners in general, I don't know how the regulations fall and where they lie, but it seems to me that there's an issue in the way our government is set up when the cities within the county can make decisions that affect people outside of their city limits. And when it comes to this data center, for example, this affects the entire county. And so I would like to recommend that the commissioners somehow find some way to get a committee together, a study group or something, and find out why and how, why the county cannot control the city, and why the city has the authority to make decisions that affect residential, rural people in the county who are going to be affected by their decision, who don't vote in the city, don't live in the city, and have, no control over what the city decides to do. That just seems to me to be very, very off. So that was my biggest concern, and I appreciate it if you'd address that at some future session.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Ms. Katie Eagle, you have the floor.
Hi, my name is Katie Eagle, and one of the things I mentioned last time is a moratorium, and I would appreciate if the county would put a moratorium on future data centers for like 3 to 5 years, so we can put a pause on this until things are studied and we know what the real effects are going to be on our land, our water, our energy bills, and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Katie. Ms. Brenda?
Good evening. My name is Brenda Mallett. I'm a fairly new resident of Lawrence County. I've been here just under 5 years and never really been involved in politics. I came up from Florida where we're pretty okay with our politics. But I've felt the need to get more involved. I'm not looking to bring any outside politics. I'm looking to keep Tennessee, the reason I moved here, all the things that I love about it and that you guys probably love too. So I wanted to say hello. I've jumped on board with this data center. I'm not a fan. I think more research needs to be done. My primary goal for speaking tonight would be to say I expect and I hope that you all will be transparent in this process. I've seen a lot of posts go around where we're really excited about Waffle House, we're really excited about Aldi, but not as much mentioned about the excitement level for the data center. So I just want to introduce myself. I'm getting involved. I'm an active voter, proudly voted this week, and I'm welcoming new friends and new Tennessee family. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda. Des, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Diane Alt, and my family have lived here for 7 generations on the land as farmers and home builders. And I too am not usually involved in these things, but for 35 years I've had a covenant with grassroots women from around the world. I've been part of saving the water and the soil. We can't live on this finite planet without the resource of water because we have it in abundance here. There's incredible pressure on extracting water and using it in ways that aren't beneficial. So the environmental protections that are in place already seem to be too weak. I'm so glad you're here, Ron Durham. And I'm glad that we've had the opportunity through the last couple of weeks to really read and study and think. And I've talked this week to about 25 different people in different groups that I'm in to learn what these data centers are doing. There's 5,000 of them, and they're coming to places like ours because there's a weak link here in terms of understanding what they're doing. There's a surveillance capacity that they could have. They could grow. yeah, you said last week that they were just a little small one here, but there's nothing to keep it from growing into this one and that one and that one, and taking over our farmland and taking over our water supply, which is necessary for health and life all over the planet. So I'm in solidarity with going slow, with looking at what the impact is on the seventh generation. The indigenous grandmothers say, well, you have to be responsible in your lifetime for looking back 7 generations and looking forward, and that's progress. This other thing, the money could dissolve if digital currency becomes a thing. Then these surveillance centers could control our food supply and our water supply. That's life. So I'm really for technology, but I'm for local people having a say. And when we all raised our hand and we said no data centers, and even the commissioners last week raised their hand and said, we don't really want one of these either, then it makes me wonder, where's the dark money that's making this happen? So I'm curious about that, and I want to keep organizing, but I want to say a strong no from the bottom of my soul.
Thank you, Ms. Lane. That will conclude the public comments, and we are adjourned. Thank you for coming.